And I must remember there'll be days like this.
So Valverde has been sacked as manager of Barcelona, despite Barca being top of La Liga. But was it this moment that finished Valverde at the Camp Nou?
And win a corner, and he's done that off Sergio Roberto. And he's taken quickly. Oh, it is in! It's Divock Origi again! He scored two. Wijnaldum has scored two. And the miracle is 11 minutes away from fruition. And the Spanish champions have conceded 4.
Incredible, eh? Valverde's team gave away a first leg lead in the Champions League for the last 2 years, getting beat 3-0 in Rome and 4-0 at Anfield. It's been since been swiftly replaced by former Real Betis boss, a guy called Kiki Setién. So for more on Barcelona, as I say, top of the table and goal difference, we're joined now by Spanish football expert, the dandy Don, Graham Hunter. Morning, Graham.
Morning, Graham.
Buenos dias, fellas. Buenos dias.
Graham, was this a shock or not, or was it coming, always coming?
It's shocking the way they've done it. I said today in my column that they've handled this with all the quiet aplomb of a blind one-handed man trying to juggle a wet salmon. They've got Kiki Setién in charge today. You're right. She's going to take a double session. The first time these players have had a double training session in mid-season since Guardiola was in charge.
Wow.
They won't be pleased with that. But they've got him, with him knowing he was fourth choice and the players knowing he was fourth choice, and that means they've been hugely inept about getting rid of a guy, Valverde, a dignified, honest, hard-working guy who won them 2 league titles, won them the Cup, won them the Super Cup in 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And if they chose not to get rid of him after that clip you've just been playing from Anfield, then why now, mid-season? Don't know. First time in Spain, a league-leading manager has been bumped since 1991. It was Radian Teach at Real Madrid.
Remember him, yeah.
It's ironic that Real Madrid side that Antic was sacked from went on to lose the title in the last 8 to Barcelona. Kiki Setién was playing against them that season for Logroñés. You'll both like Kiki Setién's football. He is an absolute, complete evangelical devotee of the Cruyff playing style. To the extent that the Johan Cruyff Twitter, which is still active, the Cruyff world is still a very active business, they immediately welcomed his appointment. They called him the most Cruyff coach of 2018, and he was at Betis. As soon as he was appointed last night, they welcomed him and wished him good luck from the Johan Cruyff Twitter account. There are several players. Sergio Busquets in the centre of midfield, a guy you both admire, who's declining because his athleticism isn't quite what it was. Is really tight with Kiki Setién, loves his brand of football, but he's coming in, fellas, you both know what it's like, coming in with the players knowing he was fourth choice.
Well, yeah.
Xavi, Pochettino, Koeman, all of whom have been approached one way or the other over the last few days.
Well, Pochettino's an interesting one. Espanyol, wasn't it? Big rivals, of course. Do you think Poch, when he said he could never even think about joining Barcelona a few years ago, that's gone against him? Or have they looked at what he's done at Spurs and thought, well, is he a winner or not?
It's the other way around. It's part of their ineptitude, Al. They knew. He said, I'd rather go back and work on my farm in Argentina than coach Barcelona, and yet they picked up the phone and called him. They knew, or if they didn't know, then they're idiots, that he thinks he's the next Manchester United manager. I don't think there's anybody in your studio who doesn't think exactly the same thing. What was going to attract him mid-season to a falling down Barcelona side when he knew that he was third choice behind Xavi and Koeman? It's just he's friends with one of the board members, Ramon Planes, and that was the idea of sounding him out. Now, I know you'll both tell me that in football, people can say, oh, I'd never do this, and then it's offered to them, and they stop and they have to think. But they offered it to Xavi, who's mid-season, has got a cup final to play on Friday, who's earning big money in Qatar, and who's linked very strongly to the presidential candidate for the elections in 2022.
Wow.
He wants to come in with him. Approaching him was nonsensical. Koeman thinks he's going to win the Euros this summer with Holland. Had already said he wouldn't give up on that dream, yet they approach him. He says no. Pochettino, I'd rather stick a wooden spoon down my throat than coach Barcelona. Oh, let's approach him anyway. Now Setién.
Why? Because the top...
It's just been inept.
At the top of the table, they're making more money than any club in the world, soccer club in the world, football club in the world. They're up there as number one, ahead of Real Madrid, the top of the table. For me, I'd have thought it's a great job to take.
Great job to take if you're Kiki Setién and you're on the dole. Absolutely agree. But it's evident that Xavi and Koeman and Pochettino didn't agree with you. Mid-season, you're both used to the idea that clever coaches who think there's a market for them say, yeah, I'll coach you from the summer onwards. How often do you hear that being said? Regularly. Barcelona didn't have a plan. They didn't do all of this behind closed doors, sound people out for months and say, if we get rid of Valverde, will you come? They didn't do that. They thrashed around, having sacked Valverde after a semi-final defeat in Saudi Arabia in the Supercopa. Okay, when Barcelona had played their best football of the season. It's just a Keystone Cops affair. They played absolutely beautifully against Atleti. Should have won by 2 or 3 goals. Chucked it away with 2-1 up in the last 15 minutes. And when he should have gone was after the Anfield debacle and then losing to Valencia in the cup final. When he didn't go, you look at the away performances at San Mamés against Athletic, against Levante, against Granada, all of which they lost. Poor in Prague, poor in Dortmund. There is a serious problem. It's an ageing squad. They don't know what brand of football they're playing. Are they sticking to old Cruyff principles or not? There is massive work to be done, and they put a guy in who's very talented, whose football you'll enjoy, but who's going to ask his players to do things that I'm not fully sure all of them are physically able to do right now.
Graham, I've got to ask you about another Valverde, Federico. What a foul that was. I mean, the professional foul he did, Real Madrid against Atletico. You saw Simeone's face, he was clean through, and that was one for your team, wasn't it?
Well, when you say what a foul, was that criticism, exclamation, or praise? What would you have done?
I think they would have praised him.
Yeah, 4 minutes left, 0-0. Morata isn't the best one-on-one. He's playing much better than he did for Chelsea, but one of the things that he's got to sort out is the one-on-one play. Valverde could have taken a guess and said, Courtois will save this. He didn't. There's 4 minutes left. He calculated on the run at full tilt. If this goes in, probably we've lost. He makes the foul. Real Madrid see off the free kick. They go on to win on penalties. Valverde's man of the match. He apologises. He says to Morata, it was an ugly thing I did, but I had to. Simeone praised him. Zidane praised him. He gets man of the match. It's a brilliant decision. Yeah. People won't like it. People won't like that he did that, got red carded and got man of the match. But it's a small identification of the winning mentality Zidane has reintroduced at Real Madrid. They will win the title in Spain. I've said to you this for the last couple of weeks. And they are now a much better rival for Man City than you'd have thought at the beginning of the Champions League group. They got pumped in Paris. That is going to be a bosker of a tie. Sorry, Ray, a bosker. I'll explain what a bosker is, but it's going to be a bosker of a tie when Real Madrid play Manchester City because they're distinctly better. Yeah. They look like a winning machine at the moment. They're playing decent football too.
Graham, you mentioned Courtois, and I need to know Hazard as well. Are they now showing the true form?
Yeah, Courtois has been somebody who's been unsettled and worried because while Keylor Navas was there currently at Paris Saint-Germain rescuing them constantly week in, week out, the two didn't get on. Courtois wasn't sure if he was the number one. Keylor was the popular choice of Courtois' teammates. Ramos particularly wanted Keylor. As soon as Keylor went, Areola came in for Paris Saint-Germain. Courtois re-established himself. He had a bad night against Bruges in the Champions League, gave himself a kick up the jacksie. He's now playing as well as he ever did at Chelsea or Atletico. He's absolutely in top form. Until Meunier, the Paris Saint-Germain defender, stamped without any referee action on him on Hazard's foot, Hazard was already making it look like he and Benzema were the dream partnership. He was making goal chances, beginning to score, but also entertaining the crowd. You both know the Bernabeu demands style, elan. Hazard was giving it to them. He was fit. He's going to be back relatively soon, next game or two. And he'll definitely, if there's no re-injury, he'll definitely be fit for the City tie. Courtois and Hazard on absolutely top form when fit.
Graham, just one last one. Jose, I think he's been honest. I don't think it was a wind-up. He's saying, look, Harry, you're talking about coming back from Spurs. Harry might not play again this season. So obviously the Euros, with England, if England progressed to draw...
Listen, I'm really honoured that you give me a chance from Spain, as an Aberdeen fan, to opine on Spurs. But when you've got Harry Kane, and you've got Mourinho saying, yeah, he could be back in April, but he might be out till next season. What is Mourinho a doctor suddenly? Is Harry Kane near to hear that? Kane says, oh, thanks very much, boss. You know, I might be back as soon as April and perfectly ready for England in the summer, or I might be out till next season. Are you a doctor suddenly? Do you need to say that in public? Mourinho using that situation to his own end to try and get Daniel Levy to free up some bucks to buy a striker. But poor old Harry Kane, who England's hopes rest upon for the summer, is going, oh yeah, cheers, thanks boss.
Well, we were asking the question, Ray and I, can England win it without him? I was going to ask you about Spain in the Euros.
Yeah, listen, they've got Luis Enrique back in charge. They've got Germany and Holland in friendlies in the spring. I'll be happier giving you a forecast after I see who's in and who's out amongst the players. Now that Luis Enrique's back in, taking over from Roberto Moreno, who coached them through the... Luis Enrique's situation was utterly tragic, just desperate, losing his young daughter to cancer. That he's back so soon is a surprise to me. That they had to boot out the guy who was caretaker for him was a bit ugly. And the squad isn't good enough to win it. That's the hard and fast truth. They've got Raul Albiol at centre-half. He shouldn't really be holding down a place in one of the elite European teams. They're much more entertaining. They play quicker. They're less fallible than they were in Russia and in France in the World Cup and the Euros before that. They shouldn't win it. If you look, the outstanding, never mind England, if France don't win it, there needs to be a steward's inquiry. France are set up to win it. They've got ultra talent. They've played in the last two finals, won one of them. It's France's to lose. Spain should be there or thereabouts, maybe last four, but they don't look like a winning group to me. They don't have enough goals, and they're still completely unsure about which of the three goalkeepers, Pau or Kepa or David De Gea, should be between the sticks. The spring will sort the wheat from the chaff against Germany and Holland, but I don't see them winning in the summer.
Graham, top class. Thank you, pal.
Cheers, fellas.
The Dandy Don, Graham Bumper Hunter. You can check him out on the old texts and emails. I think is it Graham Bumper? I don't know. I looked at it the other day. I was trying to work it out because Bumper Graham was Arthur Graham, Castlemilk boy, played for Leeds and Manchester United, of course. Right.